And let's discuss China's largest military parade at the moment. Today is the day. Who all are going to be in attendance? What does it mean for China? Let's take you through the latest updates coming in. Chinese President Xi Jinping will host the country's largest military parade, aiming to recast Beijing as a key custodian of a post-US-led world order amid geopolitical shifts taking place. More than 20 world leaders, including Russia's Vladimir Putin and North Korea's Kim Jong Un, will attend today, which is September 3rd's Victory Day parade, marking 80 years since Japan's defeat in World War II. The parade will showcase China's military might and diplomatic influence, featuring cutting-edge weapons such as hypersonic missiles and drones. Analysts say the image of Xi Jinping, flanked by Putin and Kim Jong Un, may define the event as an quote-unquote axis of upheaval, challenging the West. For Kim Jong Un, who arrived in Beijing by his armored train, this is his first major multilateral appearance and first time a North Korean leader has attended Chinese military parade in 66 years. The guest list does underscore China's role as the world's leading authoritarian power. Western presence is also limited, with only Slovak Prime Minister and Serbian President present in it, both critical of sanctions on Russia over the Ukraine war, also in attendance. The parade also underscores China's growing influence in Central, West and Southeast Asia, with more regional leaders attending compared to the last parade back in the year of 2015. Remember, earlier this week, Xi Jinping used a regional security forum in Tianjin to rally developing nations for a more equal multipolar world, promoting what he called the quote-unquote correct historical perspective on World War II. Experts describe the parade as part of a memory war in which China and Russia challenged the Western narrative of World War II, highlighting their role in defeating fascist forces. Xi Jinping frames the war as a turning point in the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation.
I know.
A show of solidarity by three countries shunned by the West over their roles in the Ukraine war. China's President Xi Jinping gathered his Russian and North Korean counterparts in Beijing for the first time on Tuesday. Russian President Vladimir Putin was hosted in the Great Hall of the People for a bilateral where he called the Chinese leader his dear friend. The pair then met at Xi's personal residence over tea. North Korean leader Kim Jong Un's armoured train was spotted arriving in the Chinese capital before his motorcade rolled through the streets. The three are set to appear together at a massive military parade on Wednesday, where the Chinese president will flaunt his vision for a new global order as US President Donald Trump's America First policies strain Western alliances. For Kim, the parade will mark the largest multilateral diplomatic event he has attended. It offers the reclusive leader an opportunity to gain support for his banned nuclear weapons and expand his diplomatic circle. Analysts are watching whether the trio may also signal closer defense relations. Russia and North Korea signed a pact in June 2024, and a similar alliance is agreed between Beijing and Pyongyang. Any concrete agreement could alter the military calculus in the Asia-Pacific region. It would also be a blow for Trump, who has talked up his close relations with the trio and touted his peacemaking credentials as Russia's 3.5-year war with Ukraine has raged on. Xi also held talks on Monday with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, whose country has been targeted by US tariffs over its purchases of Russian oil. Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent called the summit performative, accusing China and India, the biggest buyers of Russian crude, of being bad actors and fueling Russia's war.
Now I'm being joined by Collins Chong-Yu-Keat, Foreign Affairs and Security Analyst at Malaya University. He's joining me live from Malaysia. Thank you so much, Collins, for joining us and speaking to News9, of course. Looking at the big parade today, we have a lot of leaders also in attendance this time around. First up, I want to understand from you the kind of messaging that you would decode for our viewers. What do you think through this parade, and also with so many global leaders in attendance at this parade, is going to be the messaging for the US or the other West nations?
It is a powerful geopolitical statement by China to display the grand, military might, also the modernization of its military capacity. Of course, also to send a very strong signal to the West that now is a time for China to have this kind of friendship, and of course also as a rebuke to Trump, also as a counterweight to Trump's previous military parade, and this is China's version of this Pyongyang will get the best interest out of both. It's not only a one-sided affair with Russia, and this whole event of this summit of upheaval, or this display of this autocratic regimes, as the West would put it, is a strong rebuke to Trump and to Washington, and it's almost like a testing of water to assess the situation as to how Trump might react to this, whether there'll be further retaliations in terms of tariffs or but also Jong Un also is very strategic in not being seen as too much aligned to both parties, because of Trump's intent also to renew his efforts to of course to seek agreements or solutions with North Korea, as to what he has been doing in the first term, and he really wants to make a deal now in his second term. So all in all, I'll say that it is a very strong display of the combined messaging effort by all parties to Trump specifically, not entirely to the Western world, but specifically to Trump, to see that despite the tariff measures, despite the cooling efforts that they have framed Trump of doing, they still have the capacity to have this kind of friendship, to have this kind of networks to fight back against Trump's action.